Concern over the dropout problem goes beyond high school. Even when students move on to higher education, they often fail to reach the goal of a degree or certificate. To help more of those students get back on track, there is help from the Alray Scholars Program. And to give us an update is our guest, a board member for the Alray Taylor Second Chance Scholarship, Ed Walker. Thank you very much for being with us, Ed.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
I'd like to start off with the story of Alray Taylor. You knew him a little bit, I guess, when you were at Charlestown High School?
Absolutely. We were personal friends. Before going to Charlestown High School together, we actually both resided in the Mission Hill projects. So we knew each other way before high school. And I'm a little older than Alray, so you know, I was fortunate to meet him again prior to going to high school.
Well, he was a young man of great promise, and he went farther toward that promise than many students in Boston schools and many student athletes. So what went wrong?
You know, there's always a lot of things to consider. You know, sometimes people only see what happens on the surface, right? The young man who goes to high school, does very well on the basketball team, you know, gets the scholarship, and they expect that it's just going to be peaches and cream from that point forward. But there were tons of things going on in that young man's life behind the scenes, as it does happen for many other young people in similar circumstances. So he had, speaking specifically about Alray, he had some tough circumstances to face at the home front, back at home. So basketball and education was sort of an outlet for him, but the realities of home was still there, and he was one to stand and face those.
What about your own case? You finished college, no gaps along the way, so what made the difference, you think?
I was determined. I understood the opportunity that I had before me, and sometimes some people just don't understand that there's a real opportunity there. For me, I had some other circumstances, right? I was a young father, and I knew at that point, once I became a father, there was no turning back for me. I had to move forward. In addition to that, I had some really strong support systems in place for me, whether it was just one or two friends or my college coach and my teammates and a few college friends that I had, you know, making sure that I crossed that stage and didn't actually fall through the cracks.
So this is, I guess the word we commonly use, this is some mentoring that was going on here, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, without a doubt. I think it is essential to have. You know, a lot of people think you need tons and tons of people around you, positive people around you, but sometimes it's just that one person. So if you get the right mentor, I think it certainly increases the chances of success for any young person.
Well, talk about the Alray Scholarship Program, because this is about some help with money, but it's also some mentoring.
Absolutely. So yes, it was founded on the premise of offering some financial support to people looking for a second chance, hence the name Alray Taylor Second Chance Scholarship Fund. It's really designed for those who made an attempt at college at some point, or vocational school, whichever, but actually faced some adversities that did not allow them to make it straight through without stopping. And now they're at a point in their lives where they're looking to make a second chance, take a second stab at higher education. And this is where we come in. We really want to help these people, because more than often, money is always the roadblock for many young people, the pothole, right, and on that path to success. Sometimes they just hear the term money and they just stop. I know a young man who missed out on an opportunity to go to one of the best liberal arts colleges, over $500. That's it. He was just petrified of figuring out how he was going to pay $500. So, you know, the Alray Taylor Scholarship Fund, we really hope to help bridge that gap a little bit. But in addition to the money, we offer support, mentoring support throughout the duration of their educational journey. So once they become a recipient, we stick with them until they're done.
You've been working with a number of people so far. Any idea how successful this has been?
Yes. I mean, just this year alone, we've had 3 graduates from college, one from Cambridge College, one from Norwich University, and we just had a young lady graduate from Northeastern University who is now enrolling in grad school, an education program at Northeastern as well. So there has been great success. You know, personally, whether a student graduates from college or not, the fact that they actually applied for a scholarship, received the scholarship, and then took a second stab, I think that is a measurement of success. You know, it's not always easy just to make it straight through, as we've learned, But just taking that step is success because it lets them know that it can happen. And whether it takes them 2 years or 3 years or 6 years, after that, that's a different story. But like I said, once they are a recipient, we stick with them until they're done.
Well, talk about the difficulty of finances in college, because we might not be talking necessarily about the most expensive colleges, but on the other hand, you come out of high school, you go to college, you find out you've got to take some remedial courses, they might not be eligible for federal aid, and then it starts to really pile up, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, one thing that we've noticed with many of our recipients and other people throughout this country is one of the main reasons that they drop out of college, financial reasons, right? They've incurred too much debt. They have a bill due next semester that they just can't afford, and for whatever reason, that institution is asking that student to take a leave of absence until they pay that bill. So more than often, that can be the #1 reason that people do not return to college. And then that makes it a little more difficult if they decide to transfer into another college, because many institutions will say, we actually can't enroll you until you take care of that outstanding debt with your other institution, or they need a recommendation and or a transcript from their former college, and they can't get those documents until they pay a bill. So either way you look at it, money has always, seems to be a roadblock for many young people. But it's not always the $60,000 price tag that we're talking about. Sometimes we're talking about community college. Sometimes we're talking about vocational or trade school where the price tag isn't as high. But still, students need a little assistance with closing that gap, right? Whether they owe $2,000 or $5,000.
If people want some help from the scholarship fund, they do have to act pretty quickly, because you have a deadline coming up pretty soon, right?
Absolutely. We generally host 2 deadlines throughout the year. One is October 15th and the other is June 15th. So there still is some time to apply for the scholarship for the October 15th deadline, and your materials just need to be postmarked October 15th.
By the way, is this exclusively for graduates of the Boston Public Schools, if I'm not mistaken?
Well, you do have to be a graduate of the Boston Public Schools or charter school in Boston. You can also be a participant of the MECO program while residing in the Boston area.
And anything else people should think of that they might need to get ready or prepare if they're going to benefit from this possibly?
Absolutely, sure. There is an application process which you can access through our website at www.alray.org. And through that application process, they would have to submit a transcript from their high school and or the college that they attended. They will also have to submit a recommendation from a teacher, mentor, coach, pastor, someone who knows them very well. And in addition to that, we will ask them to write a short essay that demonstrates, why they should be a recipient, so on and so forth. And then last but not least, they'll have to complete the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid.
All right. Thank you very much for being with us.
No, thank you.
Ed Walker for the Alray Taylor Second Chance Scholarship. We'll have more news in just a moment.